Okay, so this video is going to be a bit of a hard slog, so hopefully if I play a couple of things in the background here, you won't be too bored by the explanations. The main thing we want to basically cover here is the funding of My Green Car and also the ownership, basically with the coin offering that we're planning. The main point of this video is to try and get across 3 pages that we have currently listed. Just before we move on to that, this fella here is probably the best Tesla reviews that I've seen on the internet. I've watched around about 15 hours of reviews now, and this guy is probably world class. Sorry, to move on to our point. The My Green Car website, basically as of today, you can click here and register for the stage 1 coin offering. Now there's lots of details here that will be removed very soon, so if you go to this webpage and can't find what I'm talking about here, that's okay. Basically the point that we're trying to explain here is that for $10 per token or coin, or whatever you want to call the crypto that we're going to use, you can buy your basically stake of being involved in the My Green Car platform, I guess you'd say. So basically all you need to do is click the link to register. You don't pay anything, you just select obviously whether you're wanting to register with the coin or whatever else it is you wanted to put in there. Make sure you make mention here in the notes if you are wanting to pre-purchase the coin that you specify what you're talking about there, so we know when we get your registration. The page we were just on here basically explains that we're wanting to set the coin up so that there can't be any bubbles, so that's why we're limiting to the 20 per person, so basically $200 per person is the maximum you can kind of invest as an individual, so to speak. And that is the global sort of stage 1 release, so that's the funds that are basically going to finish the development of the websites. All of this has been in basically in development since 2014. The website's been up since 2015, so basically there can't be any obviously claim that we're copying, you know, the multitude of other people that you'll see doing the same things we're doing in the very near future. The main difference, obviously, that we're trying to set everything up through the coin offering, so basically the overheads to run everything until full self-drive is active is basically covered by the coin as opposed to covered by the users. So basically that's one of the ways that we're going to be able to do 100% of the short-term rentals back to the actual owners. So basically if you've got your Tesla and you're using it for 3 days a week and renting it for 4 days a week, and you're renting it for $180 a day, which is our projected average that the owners will get, then you're not losing 40 to 60% of that to a third party, which is fairly common for these sorts of short-term rental schemes when they're not run through a rental hire company. We'll make other videos to explain exactly how all that works and how, you know, the renters are assessed and how the insurance excess works, etc., etc. But the gist of it is that once you're part of our network, part of our group, you can rent the cars prior to them being autonomous. You can rent them and cover more than what your payments are, and the average payment on the $80,000 expected total for fully spec'd, or at least mostly fully spec'd M3 Model 3 is about $280 a week on what most people would consider a sensible loan, i.e. someone that doesn't have good credit wouldn't be looking at this as a way to make money, because you need to have a good loan and a bit of a deposit and all that sort of thing. Anyway, there's more videos that will explain exactly how that works. So the point of all of this isn't necessarily for everyone to make money. The point is that we want the cars to be on the road. So basically, I'll check my cheat sheet here as to some of the slides that I wanted to cover. So we've basically gone over the funding. We've gone over that we want to own the cars, and that's not we, My Green Car, that's we, the group of people that are involved, and doing that all through the coin offering stage 1. So basically that's to cover the cost of the platform as opposed to covering the cost of the cars, which is astronomical once you consider the quantities and the price involved. This slide here, I was going to get to later, but I might cover it now because, again, a bit of a hard slog this video. Business people that we've explained My Green Car to over the last 6 years. 4 to 6 years, depending on how you want to measure it from when the site was live or whatever. Business people and people in the energy sector, like you know, directors of oil refineries, for example. The main drawback or the main limitation that we've found with those types of people is basically the being able to see the full self-drive in the future. Which is the main reason we, until 2019, we haven't actually put any marketing into the website or any you know, option to invest as such, because we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any kind of doubt as far as what's possible and what's happening right now. So we'll just cross that one off the list. This F here was to remind me of futurists, so the people that can see this existing. Think that, you know, unless you're Tesla or the people that actually make it happen, you can't make money out of it, because they're not business people and they don't understand that that's not the point necessarily in the sharing economy. And then basically the people that you would consider economists that we've explained, or at least sussed out. We haven't necessarily shown our hands, but you get the point. They mainly find that the no $1 billion in your back pocket to set up a global scale of a project like this is the limiting factor. So basically we've addressed to our satisfaction the primary objections that, you know, the market, so to speak, investors have. Oh good, there's some free advertising going on my video. I wonder if I can get rid of that. Yeah, it's gone. Woo. No, it hasn't. Anyway, that can just be paused. So that's a nutshell of how we've got to this point. As far as you'll see here, CP for coin page 3 of 3. So there's 3 separate pages now sort of talk about how the coins are gonna work, so to speak. So basically, when we come back to the home page, so where are we now? We're on the 3 of 3, where it basically talks about quite a lot of stuff which I couldn't be bothered reading out to you, but if you email us on all these pages, we've got the again, not all the pages are actually working properly for this demo, but you'll get the point. On all the pages you will find the contact email address down here, so we will have the replies automated to that account, and obviously if you want to contact me directly, it's not too hard to find out my contact details by, for instance, the name in the inbox at the bottom of the screen. You can look me up. But the point is, if you email on that account, you'll get replies to basic questions that we can sort of automate and say, well, watch this video or check this page out and what have you. As I may have mentioned a second ago, 95% of what's on the current website here will be deleted once we move to the new platform very shortly. It's more of a, you'd probably call it a live prospectus kind of a concept map, really, so we us involved in the project understand where we're heading, and you know, we can pivot to new directions if we need to. So anyway, that's the 3rd page. Coming back, how far in are we? Only 6 minutes, so we're not doing too bad. It's a third of the way through, maybe. So that was this little Invest Now section. If we want to come back to what we're talking about with the coins in a bit more detail, you can basically get that from memory, this link here. So basically this is page 1 of 3, and this outlines the main kind of reasonable value that the coin in the initial stage won't be just, you know, purely a token or a share or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be integrated into the platform where someone who has one of these coins will basically get their insurance access reduction from, you know, what's typical of a hire car company of $2,000 if you have an incident, down to $500. So basically, instead of paying an extra, typically it's anywhere from $19 to $30 for a hire car company, sometimes it's more, to have that reduced excess. Basically any coin holder automatically has that, and that's kind of just part of the way that we've worked out that we can grow the platform and cover costs of development, and also, you know, make sure that people that have invested don't get, you know, left high and dry. It's all kind of factored around we'll make sure that the coins have value within the network to keep them above what you paid for them, essentially. So none of this is, to make you $1 million. Basically, as I said, you're limited to purchasing 20 coins, $200, and that we expect to go up 10 times based on the platform. If it goes up any more than that, we're likely to adjust the value of the coins within the platform so that there's less demand, so that the price stays between the $10 and the $100 for this particular coin. So again, we can explain more of that with reply email. If you just email us down the bottom if you're not kind of getting it so far. Going back to the home page, in fact, let me just skip back. I wonder if it's here, full page link. We've kind of hidden it. So again, not all of this is supposed to be just stumbled across. It's more, if you're interested, we'll tell you where to find the information. So this full page link here will take us up into the page that kind of gives a bit more detail about why there's 3 coins, what each one of them does, and how they'll kind of hit the market, so to speak. So the first coin, we've got, as we mentioned, we've got 200,000 of them, 20 per person, $10 each to buy. The next stage, which basically will happen once our first fleet of cars hits the market or hits the road, or however you want to phrase it, they're going to be $50 each. Basically, you need to have one of those to rent the car out, and there's 50,000 of them per zone. Now, when we say zone at this stage, we're expecting that each operation is going to be kind of a little cluster. So, for instance, Queensland has 5 million people. We'll need 50,000 cars, maximum to service that, and that's why there's 50,000 coins minted, or tokens minted at the $50 each, to make sure that's, there's one token per car, like a taxi license, basically, if you want to put it that way. So stage 3, T3, token to join as pay-per-month member. So originally, when My Green Car was set up in 2015, we published some rates about how much we thought it would cost to have the cars on the road, and also not remain profitable. And profit has never been the main factor. It's more to offer a product at the lowest price, so as that there's only one option that you would consider, essentially. In my opinion, that's exactly what Tesla has done with their car at this stage. Basically, I believe that the sale price in the Model 3, from all the reports that I've read, is basically just below the actual cost to make it. In fact, quite possibly a lot below. Therefore, you're not going to see a China company, come and make the same car for less, because you can't, because you'd lose money. Obviously, Tesla have invested primarily in their self-driving technology. I was expecting in 2015, when I started the My Green Car, I was expecting there would probably be at least 4 players that were as advanced as Tesla by this point. I know that Google is up there, Apple is up there, Waymo, I think they are. Not that they're, not that I've ever seen one in Australia, but I believe they're making some progress. But again, more in the maybe we can do this one day, as opposed to let's start letting these cars drive themselves, which is where we're at with Tesla today. Anyway, going back to stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, what else we got here on the screen? Nothing that really I could be bothered reading out loud. I think we've covered probably the next point on this page that is worth just drawing attention to. The original concept of My Green Car was that for every car purchased, a solar farm would be purchased as well, to basically feed into the grid the exact amount or more energy than what the car is actually drawing out. Therefore, you're not actually, even though you're not burning fuel with an electric car, you're still burning coal, etc. To kill those arguments, basically, we wanted to have 100% renewable. That's still the goal. It has been pushed down the field slightly, in as much as the technology is here now, we can use it now. We'll have to basically implement the solar from essentially stage 3 once we've actually got the monthly memberships on rolling, basically. So yeah, anyway, this section I've highlighted explains that for every kilometre there's going to be ½ cent set aside to buy carbon credits. So when stage 3 starts, those carbon credits will start basically being purchased, or implemented, however you want to call it, to have offset any equivalent amount of petrol driving to that point. So it's all a bit complicated, but essentially, if you're driving your petrol car 1 kilometre, you need to buy about ½ cent's worth of carbon credits to offset or to cancel or to neutralise the carbon that you've made with your normal car. So it's basically just saying, even though they're always electric, they're better, but we're still going to replenish what we've used, so to speak, and to that point. So, and the whole concept isn't just about how green it is, it's more about this is the future, let's move there, and let's not, make a mess on our way there. Anyway, that hopefully explains that part of things in a reasonably concise way as far as we're, 15 minutes in? Thanks if you're still listening. Alright, so we've got float coins, yeah, you understand that. Again, all this is very much draft. I've barely even given this a second read in the last couple of weeks since we updated the website for our 2019. I think between the pages we've already shown you and what's on this page, you can probably kind of fill in the blanks. Just drop us an email if anything's still not clear. This bubble thing, I think I've touched on enough. Basically, none of these stages we don't want anyone coming in and buying all the coins, one person, because it would just give a false value of the coins, supply and demand. So basically all of our coin releases are going to be set up so that there hopefully can't be any bubble, because we'll limit how much a single person can own. And even if someone wants to open up 10 accounts and own 10 times as much, then good on them. They can spend 4 hours doing that. It's not like anyone with millions of dollars has that sort of time on their hands, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so the video list, I'm not 100% sure which video this one's going to be yet. I think it's somewhere in the 13 mark that I'm making now. Anyway, it'll be one about the coin offerings, so that's really just a video list for me to make sure and I make enough videos to cover the main points. So hopefully that has given some of you an understanding of what the coins do and why we're printing them. And sorry if I didn't make that clear. Coins, coming back to the slide, for anyone who hasn't used cryptocurrency before, which is myself included because I'm not a big fan, but it serves a purpose. The ICO, I believe, is the common term for initial coin offering, where you basically release the coins at your set price, they go into the market, and then basically people can trade them from that point. So basically, because ours are a bit unique, as far as I know, of limiting ownership, that they're obviously it will be a bit of a trial case to see if the market adopts it, so to speak. But I think it's a useful approach for what we're trying to achieve. At this stage, we think that the Ethereum backbone is going to be the one that we need to use, because we can obviously make sure that we can see the wallet IDs and see if anyone's got more than the appropriate amount. As far as actually implementing the ownership limits, our web guys are going to see whether we need to actually essentially buy the coins back, like put them back in our own wallet and then exchange another token or whatever it is. Those are a few details that we're going to nut out before we actually make any of the stage 2 or stage 3 coins actually live. The stage 1 ones is fairly incidental, and we're only talking a couple $1 million of investment there. So if we need to basically reissue those coins under a different platform when we get to stage 2 or stage 3, that'll be a thing that we work out at the time. It's not a major concern. But hopefully we've addressed some of the questions that you'll have. Excuse me. And by all means, let us know if we have not. Alright, I'll sign off for now, and we'll come back shortly with some more content. Thank you.